It retails for $30. It comes with a little armored Red Ranger Mighty Morphin figure, and it stands about 14 inches tall. The playset, not the figure. I dagnabbit. I messed that up when I was rehearsing it. I thought to fix it. Then as I was going through and going, oh crud, I made the mistake again, I was like, well, it'll be a joke, it'll be funny, and then I laughed so hard about it that I couldn't go on. So, all in all, a good take. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another edition of Orange Ranger Reacts. Believe it or not, it was at about this time last year that Hasbro announced that they would be taking over the Power Rangers toy license. And it's been about 9 months since Hasbro just took over the entire franchise. I remember when Hasbro took over the toy license, that was an incredibly hectic time for the franchise, and I actually made a video featuring 4 different headlines that came out one after the other. Boy, I thought to myself at the time, I bet I'll never have that much to talk about all at once again. It has literally been a long, cold winter for the Power Rangers franchise. After Super Ninja Steel ended, it was weeks and weeks of nothing. Fans started to actually get concerned as weeks went by and we weren't seeing any of the toys, we weren't seeing anything about the show, and worst of all, related to that, we didn't have a trailer besides the trailer that we got at Power Morphicon. And spoilers, we still don't actually have a trailer, but Hasbro has said we're going to get one before the show comes out, and we have seen a little bit of the show thus far. I'll be talking about both of those things a little bit later on. But then that news cycle started bubbling up once again, and now the gates have burst open with a set of reveals. Hasbro has taken the Power Rangers stage with aplomb, and the only regret that fans like me currently have is just how poor we're going to be after spending all of our money on these amazing things that we're seeing. Today on Orange Ranger Reacts, Hasbro Power Rangers new reveals. All of the information and pictures in this article come from Toku Nation, which does an amazing job of covering the Power Rangers franchise in general, and did an even more fantastic job of covering the recent New York Toy Fair, where so much of this was revealed. There was also a lot of good information on that hashtag show and Power Rangers Now, so go check those out as well. Oh, and you'll probably already be aware of everything I'm talking about if you are subscribed to and following on Twitter the amazing Ranger Liz. So if you're not, go and do that now. Seriously, you can pause the video, go over, follow her on Twitter, subscribe to her YouTube channel, and then come back. Okay? You can pause the video, pause it now. Okay, good. The first headline was really the trickle that started the flood as Hasbro began teasing the upcoming New York Toy Fair by releasing images of Power Rangers role-play toys. The most exciting of those was probably the Cheetah Beast Blaster because it officially confirmed that Hasbro was integrating Nerf technology into Power Rangers role-play toys. The Cheetah Blaster is officially a Nerf-powered, Nerf technology Power Rangers toy. Now sure, Bandai's line included 1 or 2 toys each season that would fire darts or stars or some other kind of foam thing. The thing is, those toys sucked. Nerf does not suck. We also have the Cheetah Blade, and from what I've heard people saying about it, I think it's actually kind of an underrated toy. I mean, sure, it's just a toy sword, but look at it. It's a cheetah roaring out an energy blade. And that blade, it looks like beautiful, translucent blue, sparkly plastic. It just looks really nice. There's also the Beast X electronic Saber, which is a role-play weapon that comes directly from the Go Busters Sentai footage. But this is not just some foam stick. This is a real toy weapon. It's going to feature motion-reactive lights and sounds, and interestingly, swinging the blade 7 times will activate Beast Mode with different lights and sounds. There's also the Cheetah Claw, a melee weapon for the Red Ranger with extendable claws a la Wolverine, and we also saw masks for the Red and Blue Ranger. Sadly, no word yet on if the Yellow Ranger is getting a mask. What's interesting and refreshing about the masks is they're not included as some part of Red Ranger training kit or whatever with little cheap roleplay weapons. They're just going to be sold on their own. This first headline felt like kind of a little quiet, tenuous step onto the stage for Hasbro, but even at this point you could see more care and attention than we got from Bandai. Even these less important, less popular roleplay toys were getting more attention and love than we're used to. The blaster is a great example of this because it's an incredibly well-painted and detailed weapon for a dart gun. All of these toys promise more detail and functionality than we're used to for the roleplay toys. The next reveal was 3 days later, and this was an interesting one, as we got images of the Beast X Ultrazord. Yes, Ultrazord, not Megazord, Ultrazord. Kinda skipping to the end a bit, aren't we? That's actually something I'm going to address later on in this video, but for right now, yeah, kinda skipping to the end. This is a non-combining Ultrazord toy. It's kind of akin to stuff we've seen before with like remote-controlled Megazords, where it can move and it has lights and sounds, it fires little darts or missiles, etc. We do have a price for this one, $39.99. Not bad. The other reveal in this headline was also a bit interesting. One of the few regrets people had about the toy license moving on from Bandai is that it would probably mean the end of the Fisher-Price Imagine Next Power Rangers toys. It did, but only because Hasbro happens to have its very own line of toddler toys, Playskool, and they are more than happily adding the Power Rangers to their Playskool Heroes line. The very first item revealed for the Playskool Heroes Power Rangers line was a Megazord playset. The Wild Force Megazord. Yeah, you heard me right. Wild Force. Not Mighty Morphin, not Beast Morphers. Wild Force. It comes with a little Wild Force Red Ranger action figure, which I think is also an interesting side note as well. It's a subtle way for Hasbro to demonstrate that they're not going to shy away from Wild Force and its Red Ranger, Cole, just because of the real-life controversy with his actor, Ricardo Medina. This is not a Megazord that can be taken apart into individual Zords or anything, it's just a playset for the figures, but it does have a neat functionality that I wasn't expecting. You can kind of bend the Megazord down like on its hands and knees, and it turns into a lion. I actually think that's pretty neat. Now I will say that this is the first case demonstration that Hasbro is not perfect. This is the first case in which they made a mistake regarding the toys, at least that I can think of. Incredibly minor mistake as it was. When this image was initially released, the Megazord's shoulder insignia were flipped around. They were on the wrong sides. I can also tell you that at New York Toy Fair, when this playset was displayed, the shoulder insignia had been swapped back around to their proper places. Because Hasbro is a company that listens to their fans, catches their mistakes, and corrects them. Boy, isn't that a nice change of pace. This next headline kind of changes the subject a bit, so I figured I'd just let you heroes know about the structure of this video. I'm relating these headlines to you literally as they came out. What I did basically was pulled up Toku Nation, again, a great website for Power Rangers news that you should look at every so often, and just went through the headlines as they came out on the site, one at a time. So this is going to jump between topics kind of back and forth, so be forewarned. Here is the first example of that. During a phone call with the company's shareholders, Hasbro CEO Brian Goldner announced that Hasbro is in discussions with longtime movie studio partner Paramount about work on a Power Rangers movie. That is literally all we know at this point. Is it a sequel to the 2017 movie? That is all we know. Are they going to use the same actors? That's all we know. Are they going to redesign the Zords? That is all we know.
Will Goofy say a swear?
That is... Wait, what? Anyway, that is literally all we know about this movie as of the filming of this video, that it's a thing that is being talked about. However, we are free to speculate, and if you're emotionally attached to the 2017 movie, you're probably not going to like what I'm about to say. Listen, Power Rangers 2017 was a good movie, a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I loved the Ranger characters and Rita, everything about that, and just the excellent writing of the film and all of that stuff. But the movie was made by Lionsgate. But Orange Ranger, wouldn't Lionsgate work with Hasbro and with Paramount and just create an amazing sequel for this franchise?
No, 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 no!
Two responses to that. Number one, you might notice that Lionsgate has insisted on being involved with things like Legacy Wars, Battle for the Grid, the Street Fighter Showdown film, for the use of its story and characters. And number two, you may remember that they were quite strict with a content claim on a video I did reacting to the trailer. So, how about you tell me? So no, this movie is going to be a reboot, and I think that's actually okay for two different reasons. One, that's just Hollywood these days. It actually makes Power Rangers feel a little more normal that there's talks of a reboot just 3 or 4 years after the last film came out. Number two, the 2017 movie was not perfect. The writing and the acting and stuff was great, like I said, but the Ranger stuff, the suits for one, but especially the Zords and the Megazord, left a lot to be desired, and we're not even mentioning Goldar because we don't talk about 2017 movie Goldar. Also, there was just disappointingly little action for a Power Rangers movie. I think this story can be done better. And my bet would be that Hasbro and Paramount are going to do it better. February 8th is the day that the Ranger news faucet was just turned all the way open as images just kept coming and coming from Hasbro. They started off with a look at the basic action figures for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Now, these were figures that fans were very, very curious to see, myself included, because we knew about the Lightning Collection for Power Morphicon and that those were going to be amazing, but personally, talking to fans of other Hasbro toy franchises, basic line action figures have been kind of hit or miss. Not to mention the fact that Bandai's baseline figures for Power Rangers were almost always disappointing, to the point that we would go into getting them brand new trying to guess, okay, where did they skimp on paint? On the back? It's probably not painted on the back. How about the one weapon that comes with it? Is it going to be solid gray, solid yellow, or solid black? So to me, this was the first true sign that we have really just made it to the big leagues, because the baseline Power Rangers Beast Morpher figures look absolutely fantastic. The figures are fully painted, and their accessories, and yes, that's a plural, are painted as well. Imagine that, an action figure that comes with painted accessories. And if you think that's surprising, you better be sitting down for this next point. They look like real people. The guys have realistic body types that don't look like roided out bodybuilders. The girl, there's only one girl revealed in this initial headline. We're going to talk about another girl a little bit later on, but the girl, Zoe, the Yellow Ranger, has a realistic body type too. Her arms and legs don't look like chopsticks. Her skirt actually allows the figure to bend and move. And we're getting villains! Okay, I guess we got villains in the Ninja Steel toy line, but good villains! We saw a figure for Blaze, an evil dark red ranger, and we're getting a figure for the Grunts! The Grunts are called Tronics, by the way. Get it? Electronics. And the best part? These things are retailing for $9.99. $10! That is a great price for how good these figures look! Now, by the way, since I said accessories plural, you may have noticed that all the figures seem to come with this weird little stick thing. I don't know, kind of looks like maybe like a car key? Flawless segue, as revealed right alongside these figures, was an item that I am ridiculously, stupidly excited for, the Beast X Morpher.
What makes any game cooler and more likely to appeal to the youth? The letter X.
Retailing for about $30, this is going to be a wrist-mounted affair that pops out a visor when you morph. Look up the Go Busters Henshin if you're curious about it. Moving the Morpher with your wrist, you know, going hiya, 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 makes battle sounds, and this part is so awesome. There's a video of it on Twitter that's linked to on Toku Nation. Go and check that out to watch this for yourself. The Morpher is voice activated. You morph by pushing a button on it, maybe putting in that MorphX key, and saying, "It's morphin' time!"
Forget it!
So, okay, right, the stick dealies. Those are indeed called keys. They are MorphX keys. MorphX, you might remember, is the substance that was discovered by scientists that makes the Rangers. Inserting the keys into the Morpher activates different sounds, and the Hasbro representative at New York Toy Fair said that each of the Rangers' keys activates a different morphing sequence. So, putting 2 and 2 together, this Morpher is going to have unique sounds for the grunts, since the Tronic figure also comes with a key. I'd like to remind you all of what the Ninja Steel Morpher did for legendary keys that were sold to build on nostalgia.
Legendary Red Star. Activate.
You're stupid.
But you know, somebody over at Hasbro just must have been going, you know, as awesome as all this stuff we've talked about so far is, there are good fans like the Orange Ranger out there, for example, who just, they don't really collect the action figures anymore. I know he's going to flip over the Morpher. He's going to love that, but I think we really better just push the Zords as well, because that's what he's really into, and fans like him. So we also got our very first image of the Beast X Megazord. Megazord, not Ultrazord, and this is the combining toy. You're going to hear me gush about Zords in a minute, spoilers, but as for this point in the headlines, there really wasn't much to say. It's the Beast X Megazord. It's the Megazord from Go Busters. It looks accurate. It looks good. Also, perhaps sensing that particular brainwave, Hasbro decided it was time to reveal the individual Zords. 5 days later, February 13th, we got an early Valentine's present from Hasbro as the individual Zords were revealed in exclusive images on Gizmodo's IO9. Surprise, surprise, broken record, the individual Zords look absolutely amazing, fully painted and transforming into all of the appropriate modes. So, on that IO9 article, we saw all 5 of the Beast Morpher Zords. Yeah, all 5 of them, including the gold and silver Zords. This is something I hinted to earlier, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now. Hasbro really seems to be making no effort to keep it a secret that Beast Morphers has gold and silver Rangers. Everything is being revealed at the same time, when the additional Rangers are usually something revealed in a later wave. Now, there are some fan theories about Beast Morphers that I hadn't bought into to this point, but seeing all of this stuff so quickly, all the way up to the Beast X Ultrazord, does kind of lend some credence to the possible theory that Go Busters is only going to be Season 1 of Beast Morphers, and maybe Season 2 will have a different footage source. The Zords are where, for me, we really hit one of the first major catches of this toy line, but you can definitely file this under a good problem to have. The Zords are lumped into 2 categories, and no, it's not Transforming and Deluxe. Any of you ancient veterans of this franchise like me that might remember that, it's just the 2 different levels of functionality. 3 of the Zords, Blue Gorilla, Yellow Jackrabbit, and Silver Scarab, yes, Scarab, have 2 modes, Animal and Vehicle. The other 2, Red Cheetah and Gold Mantis, have 3 modes, adding in a humanoid robot. So, here's the catch. Each of the Zords is being sold individually, and they're priced based on their level of functionality. The dual switching Zords are going to cost you $25 a piece. The triple switchers, those are going to cost you $30 a piece. So, doing the math, the Beast X Megazord is going to cost you $80. Do not get me wrong, I can already tell, having not even held the things yet, that this is definitely a case of getting what you pay for. These Zord toys are going to be far closer to the quality of the Japanese toys than the quality of the Bandai of America toys. Just looking at them, they're fully, gorgeously painted with the little details and the shiny, oh, they look so good, I want them already. Here's the thing. the Ninja Steel Megazord, which, do not be fooled, is a piece of absolute junk, retailed for $34.99. Thank you, by the way, to Green Ranger for his amazing toy database that let me look that fact up. $34.99 is barely going to get you one Zord in this toy line. Oh, and at the same time, Hasbro also revealed the second playset in the Playskool Heroes Power Rangers line, the Mighty Morphin Red Dragon Thunder Zord. It's going to be about $30, stands about 14 inches tall, comes with a little armored red Mighty Morphin figure, and the playset has translucent green wings.
Don't worry, Jacques. Soon God will exact his revenge upon us for our imperfections.
So the next day, Hasbro took all their dates to their little Valentine's dinners and whatever, but they were right back to work on February 15th. Though they might have slept in a little bit because the first headline that day was not from Hasbro themselves, but from a website called Southern Hobby, which officially revealed images of the first 4 figures in the Lightning Collection, Wave 1. Now, we'd already seen the Mighty Morphin White Ranger at Power Morphicon, but we got our first looks at Lord Zed, the Dino Charge Red Ranger Tyler, and SPD Shadow Ranger Doggy Kruger. Shadow Ranger I'm actually going to talk about a little later with other reveals, so for right now I'm just going to focus on this incredible Lord Zed figure. Look at how awesome this thing looks. The detailing on the muscles, the shiny silver of the paint, actual tubes that hang off the body and aren't just molded onto the plastic, and a staff that has visual effects. Oh, and he also comes with a growth grenade. A growth grenade! I'm actually going to talk about Tyler a little later too to try to move this video along, but suffice it to say all of these figures look absolutely amazing. All of these toys have looked amazing. They are getting me so excited for the show. I mean, that's what these toys are supposed to do. Get you excited to see this stuff on the screen, on the show. When is the show coming out? We spent so many weeks wondering about a release date. When is this show coming out? It actually changed the structure of my videos because I had to push back and come up with stuff to do, even though it's helping me get the comics caught up, so that was a good thing. I just had to change the structure around a little bit because we just didn't know when this show was coming out. When will we be able to expose our human eyeballs to the amazingness of Power Rangers Beast Morphers? How's Saturday, March 2nd? Yes, at a stockholder preview for Toy Fair, and by the way, can I take a second to say that Power Rangers being owned by a publicly traded company is doing wonders for us getting information? 2 of these sets of headlines have come from stockholder meetings or calls. It was revealed that Power Rangers Beast Morphers will be debuting on Saturday, March 2nd on Nickelodeon. We'll get back to this. Here's another left turn in the headlines for you. Who remembers Power Rangers Live? Saban Brand's attempt at a stage show for Power Rangers that got as far as a set of tour dates across the country and pre-orders for tickets before it all went terribly, terribly wrong and didn't end up happening at all. Well, it seems like to me that Hasbro, when they took over the franchise, they got the list from Saban Brands of all the things that they were, trying to accomplish, the list of things that they wanted to do with Power Rangers and just going down it. And they said, you know what, Saban Brands? Let us show you how it's done. Hasbro is partnering up with Kilburn Live to produce a Power Rangers stage show that will tour North America. However, you can file this headline right underneath the new movie because that is literally all we know. Alrighty, now over back to that news about the Beast Morphers premiere date. Okay, yes, all of these headlines actually came out on the same day, but again, I'm giving you these headlines as they came out minute to minute. We found out about the Power Rangers live show in between the premiere date for Beast Morphers and the premiere time for Beast Morphers. So yeah, this next headline, it's the time. We're going to be talking about the premiere time for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. That's what's happening now. But I mean, you're going, come on now, OR, the premiere time? That's not a headline. This is Power Rangers on Nickelodeon. Tune in to Power Rangers Beast Morphers Saturday, March 2nd at noon on Nick.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Set those alarms, kids. Power Rangers Beast Morphers will be premiering Saturday, March 2nd at 8 a.m. on Nickelodeon. Yeah, we've managed to get ourselves a brand new time slot for Power Rangers, and it's early enough that many of the adult fans I think are going to be pulling the old wake up, watch the show, go right back to sleep routine. Not me personally, since as a reviewer I'm going to be working on things right after the episode airs. Although actually in both aspects of my life I'm going to be working right after the episode airs, since I usually work on Saturdays for most of the year. But hey, I will be able to watch the show, just as long as I walk right out the door as soon as it's over. Now you're probably going, I know the date, I know the time, I know the channel. Why don't you just go ahead and let me know the title of the episode so I can be absolutely sure when I set this up on my DVR. The title of the first episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers is Beasts Unleashed.
Jungle Beast! Spirit Unleashed!
Yes, it does bring Jungle Fury to mind, but I mean, it's an animal-themed season. There's only so many terms and puns that you can go with. Scientists tap into the power of the morphing grid, but an evil virus corrupts the technology, and a team of Power Rangers is formed to defend the grid from evil. It's basically the synopsis of the entire season, translated down to the first episode. But now back to the toys. Man, this video is jumping around more than Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 28. Heyo! Don't you want these amazing toys? I mean, they look so good. I can just picture you folks already. If you're not actually doing this, you're picturing it at least. Just searching online through all the various websites, your Amazons and your GameStops and your Walmarts and all of that stuff, trying to figure out who's going to have these toys first. Can you place pre-orders anywhere? Just the best way to shop for these toys online. Oh, heroes, has your day finally come? Also on the 15th, Hasbro announced and launched their completely revamped online shopping experience. Once known as Hasbro Toy Shop, it's now called Hasbro Pulse. Bum, 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 bum. That's a bit of news that actually transcends Power Rangers, because this is going to be the online shopping hub for all of Hasbro's brands. We're talking about Transformers, we're talking about Nerf, we're talking about Star Wars, Marvel, and yes, Power Rangers. The website's going to be completely free to use, besides the fact that you're buying things, that requires some money. But there's more! Similar to an Amazon Prime, this site is going to have a paid preferred member option called Pulse Premium, because alliteration is good. They advertise things like free ground shipping on any items ordered in 2019, flash sales and other monthly discounts, and other perks at select conventions throughout the year. Jackrabbit Zords, boing, boing, boing. It's a little unclear what that actually means, but Toku Nation theorized things like shorter line options at the Pulse booth at certain conventions, and perhaps the ability to purchase convention-exclusive items online. Normally, Pulse Premium is going to run you about $50 a year. Normally. You heroes want a bargain? We're doing some bargain hunting right now. I got a bargain for you. If you make a purchase on Hasbro Pulse before February 23rd, and please note that date. I realize that as this video is coming out, that is just a couple of days away from right now. If you make a purchase on Hasbro Pulse before February 23rd, you will get Pulse Premium for 2019 for free. That is basically a why wouldn't you proposition. The 4 Lightning Collection figures are up for pre-order right now at $19.99. Ordering them is going to get you Pulse Premium. Pulse Premium is going to get those figures shipped to your house for free. And then you're signed up for Pulse Premium. Whatever awesome things get released on the website, flash sales, convention exclusives, any of that, you're going to be in on that. Now, if none of these 4 figures grab you, well, actually none of these 4 figures should grab you because they're not alive, but if none of these are figures that you're interested in, again, Hasbro, Star Wars, Nerf, Transformers, Marvel. You're not a fan of Marvel? I'm a fan of Marvel. I like Marvel. Just buy something. There's no stated minimum that I can tell. If you're watching this video, you almost have to be a Power Rangers fan. The only other way I figure you're watching this video is if you know me, and if so, hey, thank you. That being said, I think it will benefit you to have Pulse Premium. Now, do I think it's worth $50? No, I don't really think so. So I'm also hoping that they work in some kind of make a certain number of purchases, build yourself up, maybe a point system enough to renew premium for another year for free. We'll see on that. So, this is the end of page 6 of my script for this video, and I'm just reaching the start of New York Toy Fair. When Hasbro started setting up their booth at the New York Toy Fair, we began seeing photos of things live and in person, and not just media stock photos. One of the first things that people noticed from this booth is that the Playskool Heroes Power Rangers line is going to primarily consist of blind-bagged collectible figures. There are also going to be Zord Playsets, which we've already seen for the Wild Force Megazord and the Red Dragon Thunder Zord. There's also going to be one from Dino Thunder. I didn't specifically notice it in the photos. Sean in editing, was it the Brachiozord? I feel like it was the Brachiozord. Huh. The action figures for Power Rangers Beast Morphers were also on display, and we got our first look at the figures for the Gold and Silver Ranger. First look at the new Rangers and Beast Morphers! Go Mr. But we also got our first look at Roxy! Now, for you Sentai fans in the room, Roxy is the villainess known as Escape. You may have noticed, however, that her suit has changed colors. It now seems to be yellow.
Yeah, they were all yellow.
No, just Roxy. And the Yellow Ranger, Zoe. Apparently, if your name ends with an E sound, then you're yellow. But the Blue Ranger is Ravi. What was I talking about again? Oh, right, changing colors. So when we got a figure that looked differently than the show, that with a different color before, we knew the excuses from Bandai. Oh, that colored paint is cheaper. We can make plastic that's color that's going to be cheaper than painting it. This figure has a circlet on her left thigh that is chrome silver, and they included it. You're telling me they're including that little detail and making her yellow because it's cheaper? I don't think so. So, if that's true, then why is Roxy yellow when she wasn't in the Sentai footage? Well, there's another little detail that I think points to a theory for that. She just so happens to have rabbits on her thighs. Now, I have been told that those details are on the original monster suit as well, but I think this all just feeds into a really interesting theory. It's pretty clear that Blaze, the dark red evil ranger, is some kind of a perversion of the Red Ranger powers. Now, we just so happen to have another villain who is yellow and associated with rabbits. Just like the Yellow Ranger. I have a theory about this, but I would like to give some credit to Shadow Ray over on Twitter for having some of the original ideas that kind of pushed me in this direction. The story of Go Busters, and thus some of the footage involved from the show, involves a lab accident, an explosion, and a disappearing building. What if this accident was involved in the creation of the Beast Morpher Power Rangers, with Blaze as the first Red Ranger, and Roxy as the first Yellow Ranger? There's an explosion. Blaze is further away from it, so it only just messes up and modifies his powers a little bit. But Roxy is front and center, like completely infused with Morph X, and just whatever was making up the powers is just completely infused to her DNA, creating this new monstrous form. The headlines kept coming late into the night, as at nearly 1 a.m. the next day, probably based on a midnight website activation, it was reported that the Dino Charge Red Ranger, Tyler himself, his Lightning Collection figure, was up for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse. That got us to see this amazing box art for the Lightning Collection, which to me even puts the Legacy box art to shame. It was also our first look at Tyler's human photorealistic head. And, I mean, it is photorealistic. It looks really good. It's excellent technology that they used to put this together. It's just that Tyler was always so excited and happy on the show, and his expression here is so dour. I just really wish they had him smiling and happy. No more than 8 hours later, we got to take a look at the rest of the boxes in this set, thanks to the amazing Green Ranger. Again, I'm talking about the guy online with the toy database, not like Tommy or any of the other Green Rangers. Anyway, the box for the Shadow Ranger revealed something that so many of us were desperately hoping for, but still almost didn't expect to get. It comes with a swappable Doggy Kruger head. Right? Now, eyeballing these, it's not a situation where you're going to be able to fit that head into that helmet, one of the biggest questions about SPD in its history. This is a situation where it's a swappable head, so you take off the helmet head and you put on the Doggy Kruger head, but still, it's just amazing! All 4 of the Lightning Collection figures in the first wave look fantastic! I just really found myself wondering how they were going to follow these figures up in another wave. I mean, every one of these figures looks as good as gold. Gold Ranger? No! Well, actually, yes, but first, Goldar. Yes, Goldar was revealed for the second wave of the Lightning Collection. Now, this one is going to be a GameStop exclusive, so that's something that's carrying over from before times. And it's going to be a little bit pricier than the standard figure. This is going to be $22.99. However, guess what? This figure comes out in October. You can pre-order it right this very second at GameStop. And here's the thing to remember about GameStop pre-orders. You only have to put $5 down on that thing. Don't have to pay for the entire thing right away. So, what else can we expect in Wave 2? Now, this is the Lightning Collection, not the Legacy line. I was actually totally fine with the idea of getting the Ninja Steel Rangers in the Legacy line. It was just a name, it didn't really mean anything. But the name Lightning Collection implies that this is something where we can get figures from anywhere in the show's history. It's going to be an anthology, like Hasbro has said. Anywhere in its history. How's the currently running season for you? Hasbro at the New York Toy Fair revealed the Beast Morphers Red Ranger Lightning Collection figure. Yes, that means we're going to have a Beast Morphers Red Lightning Collection figure and a Beast Morphers Red regular line action figure at the same time. But, do me one favor. Look at that! Look at that figure! The effects that are coming with it, the photoreal swappable head for a Ranger that we currently going to have on the screen right at the moment, it's so good. It's so good. It's so... However, I can see you in your house or wherever you're watching this video. I can see you. Stop that. I'm kidding, I can't actually see you. I can see you looking back at those Play School Heroes figurines for the Power Rangers line there and thinking to yourself, I'm really excited about those. Those just look really fantastic, and I can't wait to go out and buy them because chasing rare figures in blind bags is just the most fun ever, right? I have a problem though. I don't have enough shelf space for figures that are that size. Can't we get collectible blind bag figures that are choking hazards for small children's size? That is an incredibly odd and specific request, but Hasbro still has your back. Introducing the Micro Morphers line. Little tinier stylized figures from across the entire franchise so you can chase those rares and store them on your tiny little shelves there. There's also going to be Zord playsets that these little figures can sit in. This all looks incredibly cool if that's something that you're into.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
So this final note isn't exactly a product offering. Actually, it's not a product offering at all. But to me, it's just another example of how amazing and dedicated to this franchise Hasbro is. They had a Dino Megazord display at the New York Toy Fair. Actually, no. It wasn't just a Dino Megazord display. It was the suit. It was the filming suit for the Dino Megazord. Now, it's being debated a little bit which suit this actually is. There are some people saying that this was the original Japanese Daijujin suit. Others are saying that it was the suit that was at Toei Space World that was filmed just for later anthology stuff like Gokaiger, but still, dangity dang dang dang! So, what is my reaction overall? Don't worry, folks. I'm fine. Ha! Fine. There's nothing Hasbro has shown us so far that is anything short of absolutely amazing. There's stuff like the Play School Heroes stuff, the Micro Morphers, things that aren't for me, but they are for someone, and that's the amazing part. As I said, the Zord toys are a little bit pricey, but I mean, again, we're getting what we're paying for. I haven't even held these things yet, and I already know that we're getting what we're paying for. They would have to have the durability of a thin glass ornament to not be worth that price. What a week. What a week this has been. What a 2 weeks, what a year and a half. Over the past 2 years, if not a shorter time frame than that, we've had not one, but 2 social media movements centered around whether this franchise was dead. The most recent iteration of the TV show was one of the worst iterations it has ever put forward. Then suddenly Hasbro comes swinging in the window like Zorro and rescues the franchise from the doldrums. But then for a long time, nothing. A dark, quiet winter of waiting out contracts and hoping for the best. But then, the best came. The sun has risen, spring has come. The biggest takeaway for me from everything that Hasbro has presented is simply this. Hasbro cares. This is effort. And listen, it's effort to make financial gain. Hasbro is a company that makes money. I get that. I get this isn't philanthropic. They aren't making these toys just because they love the Power Rangers fans. The Zords are expensive as crud. I've already said that. But when a company makes awesome quality toys that you are more than happy to part with your good money to have, everybody wins. It remains to be seen how good Beast Morphers is going to be as a TV show. Though, from these images from Toy Fair, which are not from some Beast Morphers trailer that you haven't seen, they are from a general Power Rangers brand trailer that was shown at the New York Toy Fair, you can see how good this show is going to look. The days of the dull, washed out, mustard yellow Gold Ranger are over. This show is going to have bright, popping colors and super sharp footage and imagery. But besides all of that, you just have to feel, I think everybody has to feel, that if they are putting this much effort into the toy line, how much effort are they going to put into the show that's going to make people want to buy those toys? I cannot stress enough how good it feels to be a Power Rangers fan right now. That's going to bring me to my closing thought for this video. The first wave of the Lightning Collection featuring Mighty Morphin White and Lord Zed is not something that went unnoticed by the general public. I saw plenty of comments of people who remember the show from the 90s but are not fans now, don't watch the show now, talking about how good those figures look, and hey, what's that figure? That looks really good too, whatever it is. This, heroes, is how you build a franchise that is a nostalgic franchise. How you build it back. You lead with the nostalgia. Give people the warm, fuzzy memories. Each Saturday morning wrapped up in the blanket, eating cereal, watch the Power Rangers with the Megazord power, woohoo! You build that up, and then, come this way. Come this way, let me show you everything else that this franchise has done while you weren't watching it, and how amazing that is. That's how you do it. So, the Orange Ranger has one request for everybody watching. And really, I'm sorry if this is a little rude, but it's more of a demand than a request. Do not gatekeep. If you have a friend who talks to you about these Lightning Collection figures and isn't familiar with Power Rangers, and they ask you something like, is that one Ranger some kind of lizard dog? Do not be the type of person that goes, oh my goodness, that's the Shadow Ranger, that's Dougie Kruger, he lost his entire team, he lost his wife, but he got her back later, and he defeated 100 Crybots when he first became a Ranger. What do you mean, what's a Crybot? Welcome people into this fandom or back to this fandom. Explain things to them gracefully and calmly, friendly-like. Talk to them about how this franchise has lived on and done so many more things while they weren't watching it. Here's an idea. Figure out something else that they like and relate it to Power Rangers. Do they really like cop dramas? Power Rangers, SPD. Are they really into Harry Potter? Have you heard of this show called Power Rangers Mystic Force? Do they happen to enjoy feeling like both of their temples are getting drilled into by ice picks? Power Rangers Ninja Steel. Hasbro is going to drag this franchise, kicking and screaming if it has to, into the mainstream. And that's going to generate a whole bunch of fans that aren't going to know a Dino Charge from a Dino Thunder, and they're going to look at Power Rangers Ninja Steel and ask which one of them is Kimberly. You do not have to have this franchise memorized like an encyclopedia to be a fan of it. Though you could always get them the ultimate visual history. Okay, 8.5 pages of rambling, where I felt like I was more and more going off the rails as I went on. I think I can call this a video. In case you folks can't tell, I am so excited for what is coming. As my great friend Ranger Liz says, the hype is real. I can hardly believe what the fans of this franchise, myself and all of you and everyone else, are in for. That is going to do it for another Orange Ranger Reacts video. Thank you, heroes, so much, as always, for watching. In the comments below, what was your favorite headline from everything that has happened the past couple of weeks? I can tell you mine easily. It's definitely the Beast X Morpher. The sounds that it makes, the size. I didn't even actually mention this. The size. It looks like a good size even for an adult to wear. But voice activation, you say it's morphing time, and it does the morphing jingle. That's just amazing. But what was your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure to smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all of my videos. In my current video making situation, I can't throw breaking news up right away like some other channels can, not being envious or anything. That's just the reality of my situation. So you're going to hear me more react to headlines than actually put the news out there breaking. But if you want to know what I think about stuff like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and ring the bell so you get notifications of whenever I post unexpected videos like these Orange Ranger Reacts, various news headlines, etc., etc. I am going to go pretty much broke with this toy line that is coming for Beast Morphers. So, if you would like to financially support my channel, there are 2 ways that you can do so. Head over to ko-fi.com/OrangeRangerVideos. You can get me a coffee set at $3, however many of those you would like, multiples. I greatly appreciate that because I really like coffee, and then I give up coffee to buy Power Rangers toys. But if you would like to donate less or a different amount, you can also head over to digitaltipjar.com/OrangeRangerVid, and you can donate me any amount you would like, toss some change in that tip jar, and I'd be grateful for anything that lands inside. I'm going to go drink 3 gallons of water and fall down. So until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. We weren't hearing anything about toys. We weren't seeing anything, yeah. It has been a long, literal cold winter. Farts. Hasbro began teasing New York Toy Fair, New York. I can also tell you that at New York Toy Fair, because this next headline kind of jumps from, you should check out website, anyway, yep. So to me, this was the first true sign that we have finally made it to the big leagues, because to the big leagues. Okay, I guess we got figures. And it's a wrist-mounted affair that has a visor that points. So on that IO9 article, did I actually do that? Yeah, I did, okay. And the whole thing just didn't end up happening. Hasbro is partnering, similar to an and other perks throughout the year at select conventions. Now, it's kind of unclear what that actually means. Jackrabbit Zords. I want to do that joke, it's funny. Is primarily going to consist of blind bagged collectible figures. It was reported that Tyler, the Dino Charge Red Ranger, the Dino Charge Red Ranger Lightning Collection figure was officially up for pre-order on Amazon. That is an oddly specific request, but Hasbro. Actually, what was your favorite? Tell me your favorite thing. For me, I would say that I didn't think about this enough ahead of time because this is ad lib. What's my favorite? The Beast X Morpher. Absolutely.